Osterczy, and we are Dating Coach International, and I am here with
Leung
and
Lorii Abella from Chicago, visiting New York.
the Windy City. How windy is it?
Really windy.
Really
My car
windy.
is shaking.
So we decided that we were going to film a video, the first of many, for all of the wonderful people who would like to be better daters and be in fabulous relationships. So we're going to give you about 30 seconds from each of us on who we are and what we're doing, starting with Lorii.
Hi, so I'm Lorii. Started this group called Dating Coach International probably around November, December. I don't remember the exact month, but I help people find their soulmate using the law of attraction. And I'm here visiting New York in order to make our first video. And this is all for everybody, with love, before Valentine's Day.
Very cool. Rosie?
Hi, so I am Leung, and what I do is I teach my clients feng shui, how to change your space, to change your love life, to create more balance and more juiciness in every area of your life. And it's quite simple, and I'd love to show you how.
I love that word, juicy.
So do I.
Teaches juiciness. I should create a gum. I think there is one. So,
Repackage it.
yeah, I'm telling you, we have to repackage it. I know people in branding.
Okay.
We'll talk about it. So, I am David, and I run a workshop called Dating Demystified here in New York. It is a very ultra experiential workshop where we get stuff out of people that have been sitting there for a long time, and we really create miracles in our workshops. And we've created couples in every single workshop we've ever done, so we're really proud of that. I have never considered myself a dating coach, but it became really apparent to me that since we run huge coaching things for 8 weeks after our workshops, that I was a dating coach, and that people call me they want advice all the time. So from the time that I started actually charging for that, I guess I was a dating coach. So I believe heavily in the law of attraction. I'm a featured writer on Your Tango, and most of my articles are about the law of attraction and attracting what you want and not attracting what you don't want, which I'm sure my pal here could speak very well on. So we have a bunch of questions that we all wrote down that we're going to do a round robin on and answer. And Lorii, why don't you start? What's your first question?
So I have a question for everybody. I can answer it, but you can also answer it. Of course, I'd like to hear your feedback first. So why do you think there are many singles who are having a challenge finding their soulmate in this time and age?
I think, speaking personally, that in my older years, I have been a little more discerning on who I'm going to spend my time with. And whereas, when I was in my 20s and 30s, I'd pretty much be with just about anybody who liked me. And it just doesn't work that way for me anymore. There's got to be a lot of substance when I meet a woman. There has to be some commonality. I want her to be able to teach me a few things. There has to be a certain level of spirituality and, in touch with a higher power and law of attraction. So, there's a lot of things, but I think we've also become so politically correct that I know I do quite a bit of internet dating, and I am purposely sarcastic on the internet because if a woman is offended by me, I'm happy because she's not going to like me down the road. She's going to find me a little bit too out there. And I kind of test the waters that way. I throw some cute sarcasm, and if a woman gets offended, on to the next one. So I don't really have a great answer as to why it's so difficult. I think maybe we make it difficult. I think it shouldn't be this hard. Maybe we're all looking for perfection, but I think at the end of the day, we're really all just looking for happiness, to find somebody that gets us, and doesn't judge us because, geez, I know I'm sure far from perfect. And I'm looking for somebody else that's also far from perfect, who can carry some of my baggage and I'll carry some of her baggage. And I don't know that a lot of people in this day and age are willing to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe in Chicago, not so much in New York.
Hey.
Okay.
Okay.
My Brooklyn buddy.
Yes. Why is it so hard? I believe that it's because when we first meet, a lot of us put our best mask forward, so we never really get to know the true person behind it until like 2 years down the road, like, hey, you changed, you're not the person I met. Versus if we could start our first date being fully honest, kind of like what you were saying with the sarcasm, however, on a first date. It's like, okay, this is who I am. I'm a little out there, or I'm a little woo about spirituality. It's like, are you cool with that? And then also listening to the other person when they're talking. Let's say, you know, they're looking to just have fun and date. Sometimes some people may interpret that as, well, maybe he's not ready now. He will be when we're dating. And just being really open and listen, like really using your listening skills and hearing that. It's like, okay, if I'm looking for like a serious relationship and he's telling me right there on the first date, I'm just looking to have fun, that's already not a match. And then to be really clear, it's like, okay, even though he's great, he fits my list, that part doesn't, then you have to just step away and be clear.
Yeah.
You know, Rose, I couldn't agree with you more. I messed something up about 10 years ago because I didn't know how to listen. I was dating an absolutely fabulous woman with 4 sons, really great kids that took to me very quickly, especially her littlest. And she said to me before we even met that she wanted to go slow, didn't want to bring the kids in, just got out of a divorce, okay? She was, you know, really, this was her first pinky toe dipping into dating. And within 2 weeks, we were barbecuing together with 7 kids, 4 of hers and 3 of mine. And it intimidated her, and it only lasted 6 weeks. And it probably would have gone long term if I knew how to listen and kept it surface level for a couple of months and then slowly brought the kids in. But I didn't listen. My bad.
Okay.
And we're all guilty of that.
Yeah. So those are you know, really good answers. From my point of view, I was thinking one of the main reasons why you know, it's always a mismatch is because people haven't really identified what they wanted. So like, you know, when they are trying to analyze what do they want, they just say like, oh, somebody who's nice, somebody who's good looking, and somebody who's smart. So what are the other specifics that you're looking for? If you don't identify what are the other specifics that you're looking for, it can get crazy because you don't know what are your parameters. Like, you, let's say, probably, you know, I will say like, oh, I don't want somebody who has 4 children, but you know, it wasn't identified. You didn't identify you don't want people with children, and you know, in your heart you said like, I don't want children, and then like, there you go. And then people are still taking it because they just want to fit in, so they will just take whoever there is because like they want to find out, oh, there's somebody over here, I'll take him, I'll take her, whoever that is, because like, you know, that's how they feel. Like, people want to belong, so they want somebody to be in their life, so they'll take whoever is available, and then they have forgotten what are their wants and wishes. So you know, they just want things to work out whoever is available. So like, you know, for me, it's a matter of identifying what are your barriers, up to what stage are you taking this relationship that you are starting, and then as well, you might as well also think that, you know, as you were saying, in the initial stage, you don't really get to know them as much as they are. You know, they're putting their best foot forward. So it doesn't work that way. So you just have to, you know, identify what you want, and then at the same time, you know, I should say take time. If it didn't work out in the first date, probably you will get to know on the second date. So of course, you know, this is New York. Men don't even call back. So,
We do too.
You still do? Okay.
You know, I just realized we're all wearing black, so you're officially a New Yorker now. This is the color. Oh.
Okay. So
Yeah,
do you have any question?
I do. I have questions for both of you. What do you think the biggest mistake is that women make on first dates?
For me, I should say on the first date, women don't say right away that, I am interested to meet you for the second time. So like, you know, the men are clueless, what's going on? Am I gonna call this lady or not? Because like they didn't express what they wanted. You know, if, you know, men don't really get women as often as they could because like, you know, there's a different, you know, mechanism psychologically. So they'll be wondering, should I call or not? And then like, you know, of course men will also wonder, will I do it in the, you know, they follow the rules. It's ridiculous rules. Like, you know, they'll be wondering, oh, I have, because it's in the rule, like I have to call a week after. But, you know, if you're seriously interested, you know, it's a good, you know, women feel flattered if you call them the day after. Because that's a, you know, that's a big thing that, okay, that's wonderful. Because, you know, initially when the click is there, you already know that the click is there. So, you know, that's, you know, my point of view.
Most people know. Some people don't.
That's true. Yeah, that's true.
Especially men. I tend to agree with that.
Well, just to kind of speak for the men's side, women do not communicate as clearly as men do. Like what we like, what we don't like, we kind of share it with men very subtly, and subtlety may not be what men pick up. Not all.
Yeah.
So like we may say like, oh yeah, that's pretty. You know, versus like, oh, you know, I would really love that for my birthday. You know, so it's being more direct in a still in a feminine way, and the mistake that I think women do make is not being honest in the first date. Kind of what I was saying before. It's like, what if you were yourself? What if you wanted that dessert? You know, what if you do like seafood? You know, or what if you just? I mean, of course, don't talk about your previous relationships on your first date. However, you can also you can also share other things. You know, just who you are, what you like, what you dislike. You like rock climbing, whether you go to church. You know, just put it all out there and find out you guys have a connection. Are you in agreement in the most basic sense? And if you're not, great. I mean, you can always find someone else for them. You know, and you know, just really honor each other's time.
Okay. Same question, men.
Yeah,
Biggest mistake on first dates.
I'm just curious though, what is your take on that?
Your
because
side.
we have to find out what men are thinking, like, you know, what's the biggest mistake of women?
Ew, that's good.
You want the list?
Come on.
Top of the list would definitely be talking about your exes.
On the first date, right?
On the first date,
Yeah.
Which we've all done. You know, one starts talking and the other starts talking, and then just, you know, two mistakes never make a right. Two wrongs don't make a right, they say. But I think holding your personality back is a huge mistake that I see women making when I speak to them. Oh, I have a child at home, I have to be protective. Oh, I have this situation, I have to be protective. I've been hurt before, so I can't show them who I really am. That's how you lose a man. You know, because, you know, I expect that I give 100% of myself all the time. And if I'm on a date with somebody, they're going to get all of me. You know, I'm not holding anything back because I want them to know who I am.
Yeah.
If a woman holds back, especially on the kiss, if you're giving everything you have on that kiss at the end of the date, sometimes not at the end of the date, sometimes in the middle of the date, sometimes in the beginning, then the message I'm getting, even if it's not true, is she doesn't like me, she's not trying, she's always going to be this way. You know, I'm not receiving, maybe she's scared, maybe she doesn't feel attracted enough to me, maybe none of that is coming through. I'm feeling, you know, this is who she is, because since I give all of myself, I'm expecting that they will as well. And holding back is just, for me, it's just criminal. So yeah, talking about your exes, and holding back your personality. And I'm not saying don't hold back sex, you know, because I mean, you know, that's pushing the envelope a little bit, you know, like, hey, coffee was great, I live around the corner, wink. That's a little much, you know, but, you know, everything else, you know, just give it your all, because you get one shot at a first impression. You know, and women know generally in the first 30 seconds if they like somebody. And I kind of used to be that way in some ways, But I remember a friend telling me, you know, guys, I mean, we always want to have sex, you know. We want, you know, like, we're just wondering when, you know. Women don't think about when, but they know if it's going to be a yes or a no very quickly. You know, they pretty much have an idea. They see, you know, how he's engaging her and the way he moves, and, you know, is he engaging in quick bird-like movements, or is he kind of suave and, you know, and smooth and nice to her, you know. And if it's clicking and it's vibing, women that I've spoken to said their minds are going elsewhere, wondering, what does that look like, and how did that move in other situations? And we're thinking the same things. We're just looking at different body parts, you know. So yeah.
Yeah, so you were asking, like, you know, biggest mistakes of men, you know,
Yes.
you were asking. So for me, I think one major thing is that they usually look physically on the person. So even in the online dating, they'll see like, oh, looks fabulous. So like, you know, blonde hair, blue eyes and everything. And then, you know, sometimes they're, you know, so attracted that they forgot the core values of the person. They didn't look at it in the profile. They just say like, oh, I have to make a schedule in order to meet up with this person. So that's the initial thing. And then like, you know, I remember there was another coach who was saying like, you know, forget the picture first, read whatever is in, you know, the core of the person. Because, you know, most of the time, you know, men are just attracted physically first in the person. And the second thing is that, you know, men talk so much, you know, about themselves. They forgot, like, you know, hey, you know, I have to know about the other person too. Yeah, you know, it's just my impression, you know, especially if the guy has so much self-confidence. You know, but of course it's also offending if there's no self-confidence with the guy. It's a, you know, like a turn-off. What's your take, Rose?
I would say more attention to the woman.
Attention.
Meaning questions, like really pulling her out. Because on the first date, women tend to kind of hold back a little. And if you hook them in with questions, like you're really interested, like tell me what you love to do. You know, and then that kind of sparks them up. It's like, oh wow, he wants to know about me.
That's true.
He's just not, you know, going off about himself. Great. And so you got this little dance going on, and you know that's kind of leads into your second date.
You know, it's funny. There's so many friends of mine that are psychotherapists that would love to psychoanalyze a woman that I had about a month ago on a date, where even with my big mouth, she did about 80% of the talking, and I listened very well. She had a lot of incredibly interesting stories about her ex-husband and her ex-boyfriend, who she broke up with the Wednesday before our date, and she had to tell me that, which immediately, that was it for me. Like, boy, you're really jumping right back in, aren't you? But when we spoke a few days later, she said she was intimidated because I kept staring at her. I said, that's called eye contact. And that I listened too much and didn't say enough. And this was exactly the opposite of what I've been taught by women, what every woman has ever told me. So that was really odd. So there are people out there that are just not normal. And you run into them every once in a while, but I agree. You know, I think we do tend to talk too much because we're nervous, because we want to impress the woman. We do tend to fall back into stories we know we shouldn't be telling. And what I can tell every man out there, listen, is if you're getting that feeling that your next word should not be said, don't say it. Because you're right, because your gut never lies to you, ever. Ever, 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 ever. So if it's whether in an email or on the phone, and by the way, guys, read your freaking emails before you send them. Typos, grammar, syntax, and stupidity. Don't send that email if the woman is going to read it and go, what a douche. You know, maybe have friends read it or something, but really think about what you're writing before you put it out there, which is not as easy to do in an IM or a telephone conversation or in person, which is where we can really screw up, but at least give yourself the opportunity to screw up by writing intelligent emails.
Yeah, you know, sorry, before you proceed, I'll just, you know, add something. Don't copy and paste everything, including the name of the person that you were responding, because you might have made that stupid mistake.
Or send it to the wrong person.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I cut and paste all the time.
Well, I wanted to comment on what you said, that you've given your full attention to this woman and she just wasn't ready for it.
So weird.
And there are a lot of people who are more givers than receivers.
Yes.
So, sometimes you may have to give her a little time to open up, open her heart. Maybe she's been a little wounded, and just like really start learning how to receive you, and just more love coming in. Our society doesn't teach us that. So
She received the 2 slices of pizza a lot faster than I did. Wow, she could eat. But it was great pizza.
okay.
Generico's in the Bronx.
All right.
All right.
Sponsors.
Yes.
I think we have a.
Do you have something to say?
I've just been listening to all 3 of you.
Can you come in?
Come in.
I'm going to step in and out because
This is Judy Silberstein. She is a
Hi.
professional.
Thank
put me
you,
on the
thank
spot
you.
with the professional thing. I see so many women in my practice who are looking for the right guy. And this is so helpful. I just want to tell you, this dialogue is amazing. But one thing, I think it depends on the age. Because I see women in their 30s and 40s who've been around the block with a lot of different guys. They've been rejected, they've done the rejecting. And so when you're talking about that first date, I think you can't underestimate the level of anxiety that people truly have.
Yep.
And okay, I'll be the psychological one here, but think about our parents, my parents. They didn't really model for us
That's true.
the way to be authentic and intimate with another person of the opposite sex. So here we are, 30 or 40, going into a situation with all that history, our parents and what we got modeled for us and all the rejections with the guys and the gals. And people, I think, if there's one thing I want to say, give the person 1 or 2 chances. If they're gobbling the pizza, if they're talking a lot, they're probably freaked out, right?
I would have gone out with her again. I would have given her another chance, even though she did everything wrong. I could see that there was a good person behind that, but I think she was embarrassed at her behavior. So you never underestimate that either. So.
And I've been with guys, I'm divorced,
You've been with guys?
been dating, been around the block, and
Feel the steam.
the one thing, I've really given them a break. I cut them a lot of slack, because I can feel how they want to please. Like a lot of, or sometimes they don't like me, they don't want to please. But when they do, I just okay, it takes time to be your true self.
It's true.
With a complete stranger. And I have one pet peeve, and then I'm going to step out because I really want to hear what you have to say.
Okay.
The photo online. Okay, this is from my clients, my female clients. Please, guys,
Sure.
don't wear dark glasses. Don't do it. And don't take your shirt off. Okay, you may have different thoughts.
It's
about
okay to have a shirt off if it's a picture of you at the beach with your friends.
Exactly.
But don't be standing there in front of the bathroom mirror with your phone,
Exactly.
taking a picture of yourself. Ladies, same thing.
Ladies.
We don't want 9 pictures with a push-up bra.
Absolutely.
Because you're selling way too much. And if you're in your 50s, that's...
True. And the dark glasses.
Like
is a turn off.
sunglasses?
People want to see the eyes.
Of
Okay.
course, of
Okay.
course, of course. Like, the eyes.
The beautiful brown eyes. Everybody
Oh
right.
yeah, brown eyes.
Oh.
No blue-eye blondes here. We wouldn't let them in.
So I'm going to step out now because I want to hear what
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Our moderator.
Yes. Ooh, that was
Cool. Okay, you're up.
Okay, so this is kind of going with your question. What is your non-negotiable that you're, like when you're looking for a partner, what is that one thing that is non-negotiable that they must have, do, or be? Does that make sense?
One.
Well, you can give me a few, like just at least one.
For me, it used to be kids. I wouldn't date a woman without children. I just felt that if you can raise children, you have a level of maturity and understand love. And what I've discovered down through the years is that's utter bullshit. It really is, because some of the most incredible, loving, mature, amazing women I've dated had no children. Just weren't in that position. And some of the most childish, backwards, dumb women I've dated did have children. And it goes across the board. It's both. So that changed for me. Now, I don't know if there's too many things that are non-negotiable. I'd really have to think about that. I'm going to wait for your answer before I really
let me just
go into
clarify. So it's more about what you really need in that relationship for you to, feel nurtured in the when you have that partnership. What is that one thing you would need from that person? So you can kind of simmer on that.
If the word that just jumped out at me was kindness.
Okay.
And there's 40,000 colors of that. Kindness, understanding, you just go on and on, but as you were saying, Judy, let's give it a little bit of time. Let's learn of each other. There was a survey done with thousands of married couples in India last year. And they asked them, were you in love when you were married? And they all laughed. They said, of course not. We learned to love each other. We learned, because it's arranged marriages, we learned to love each other. We hardly knew each other. And I think we kind of have it, I'm not going to say backwards in this country, because I do want to love somebody when I'm married to them, but we just fall into this thing where the day we're married is the greatest day of our life, and then it's all work after that. It shouldn't be that way. It should be the learning of each other and the falling in love over time. And and I could think of women that I've dated that when I met them on a first date, I was not blown away by their looks, but within 10 minutes of them opening their mouth, I was.
Okay.
And the opposite has happened, where I've walked into a Starbucks and been like, oh my God, and then 10 minutes later I'm like, oh my God.
Okay. So is there anything on the physical level that is something that you would look for?
Coming from a total mercenary point of view, I eat mostly organic.
Okay.
I run and work out every day.
Okay.
I don't want to date a woman that's 50 pounds overweight and doesn't take care of herself and eats at McDonald's 4 days a week.
Okay.
It's not going to happen. It's not my lifestyle.
Absolutely.
So that's non-negotiable health.
There you go.
Tremendous, wonderful, physical, glowing health. It doesn't mean that they can't have allergies or bronchitis or a couple of things wrong, because we all do at some point, but take care of yourself. Your body's a temple. It's just the way I look at it. Spirituality, it all goes in with it.
Okay.
Big bowl of wax.
There you go. Yeah. Because this is about the first date, so kindness may not have come in yet. So it's about that physical.
Yeah, well, I don't know if kindness doesn't come in on the first date.
It may
Probably
not,
not. You're
yeah.
you're more. It's more of a mask on
Yeah.
situation. If you take it off completely, you're gonna possibly scare somebody away. Like talking about your ex. That's totally mask off. That's too much. Maybe kind of like peeking.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Lorii?
So for me, I think it should be across the board for every woman. It should be somebody who's not abusive, somebody who is not into drugs, or somebody who is into gambling. My father has never been in any of those things. That's the reason why, I believe that's very important for every woman. And then I should say it's also, for me personally, I have a boyfriend that I have, but the thing is that I think for me, I would appreciate, my boyfriend likes traveling, but I would appreciate always a guy who likes to travel, because I like to travel. I wouldn't understand somebody who's not into traveling, and that guy won't be able to understand me at all if that person doesn't like to travel. Traveling involves time, and then of course the money in order to go to somewhere. So that's just me.
Okay. Wow. All right. So for me, what I just want to tell all the women out there is that it's about what is important to you. So everyone is different. And when I was growing up, I was laughed at by my friend, because my first thing is the smell would be a big deal for me. Like the scent. If I don't.
Smells like ivory. Oh, smells like hibiscus.
Yeah, so it's like, when I smell that
Man.
Yeah.
Gillette.
You know, I want to feel good. I want to feel, you know, I don't know, tingly inside. You know, just I can be with that person. And also just be clear when they do sweat a little and just be okay with that too. Because then I don't remember what book it was in, but it's like, you know, your instincts are, you know, kind of helping you along the way. And yeah, so be clear. You know, just honor whatever weird quirks you have because it's part of you. And a lot of times when I ignored it, and it really did come true. It's like that person really wasn't for me. I just gave it too much time. I tried too hard, and you know, it just didn't work out. The other thing is communication, like that heart-to-heart, open conversations, and for me, emailing daily, either text, email, or talking. That's something that is non-negotiable.
I think I just want to touch on communication. I think we all know when that's going well. Okay, when you're talking to somebody, whether it's on the phone or even more so in person, or texting or IMing, and you're cutting each other off, but you don't mind. Sometimes people cut you off and you're like, what a jerk. Other times it's just this flow, you know, where there's this conversation where you're both engaging one another, and you're kind of smiling in your belly going like, they get it.
Yeah,
This is really, really awesome. I can't wait to meet this person. And then when you do, and if it, God help us if it gets better, you know, and then you're really looking forward to it, and you're talking every night, you know, or you're emailing, you know. And I also wanted to touch on something that you said earlier. I am not a proponent of calling the woman the next day. I am a proponent of sending an email saying, I had a really great time. I can't wait to see you again. That's really short, and now it's in the woman's court. You know, the guy has said, plus, plus, plus. Okay? He's not saying, you know, I want to take you to Sardi's and we're going to meet at 8 o'clock. You know, it's in the woman's court to say, all right, he likes me. This is good. I need to say something now. You know, so I'm just kind of bantering back and forth, just all the little, I'm looking between the cracks here for things.
Okay.
So.
I also forgot to mention honor and respect. And it's almost like what you were saying, the cutting off, where when someone's talking, you stay present, you fully hear what they're saying, and you respect what they're saying, whatever it may be, and be okay to disagree.
What are you saying? You're saying I'm not honoring and respecting you?
So yeah, that's what I have to say.
Okay. Yeah, sometimes, and I agree, speaking personally, sometimes being a big mouth, it's difficult for me to just sit there when I'm burning because I want to say something to someone, and I'm terrible at that. You know, if I'm engaging someone and it's bantering back and forth and it seems to be working, I may cut them off in mid-sentence 10 times, and they may cut me off in mid-sentence 10 times. And if neither one minds that, that's probably the best kind of communication, where you're just constantly, because sometimes I feel if one person is talking until they're complete and another person is talking until they're complete, that's very masculine communication. You know, just allowing, you know, all right, I'm complete, now I'm going to speak, you know, I'm going to answer what you said. But men and women communicate very differently. You know, like John Gray says, men are from Mars, women are from Venus. I think it's more like we're from different galaxies. You know, and you know, communication is really difficult between us, and I don't know why. I don't understand why it needs to be that way. And I think we examine it so much we make it worse. That we're constantly looking under rocks for all the answers, and sometimes I think you just gotta let it flow, just like water going down the stream.
Yeah, too much analysis, right?
Paralysis by analysis. Okay.
Great.
Yeah,
Question.
so what you call that, I think like, you know, before we, you know, wrap up this thing, I guess like, you know, we can share like, you know, probably 3 tips that we can suggest to all the people who are listening right now. 3 tips that they can take home, you know, for this one. And then, you know, also tell us how can people reach you and what is going on that they can avail of, like your services.
Okay. Who wants to go first?
You can go.
Oh, God. Tips. Okay, now are these tips for men, tips for women, or tips for everyone?
For everyone.
For everyone.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because there are men and women.
Hi. Well, we don't know who's watching.
Yeah.
Tip number 1, always be yourself. It's the only person you know how to be. Don't try to make like you know something that you don't know. I actually did that yesterday. I tried to impress somebody with my skiing skills. I've never skied. You know, I ice skate. It's silly what guys sometimes will do to impress a woman that they'll never see again. Okay? I have no idea why I did it, but it seemed to work. She gave me a number. But be that as it may, always be 100% of yourself. Tip number 2. Never be rude. Just don't do it. It's really easy if you think somebody's being some way or doing something to, you know, just be really rude and obnoxious, especially over email, because you figure you're just typing. Somebody's receiving your message, okay, and you don't know where they're at, and you could damage somebody for years by being rude. You know, I know a lot of men that are extremely shy around women, and if they get up the courage to say something or approach you, don't be rude to them, because you're screwing it up for the next girl he approaches. You may be the next girl some other guy approaches that somebody else screwed up. Don't do it. So again, be kind. And the third thing, let's get back to the third thing. You guys go. I got to think about this. I write books on this, but my mind's a blank right now. Putting me on the spot.
Catching us off guard.
Yes. I wasn't expecting this question.
We didn't know about this one. Let's see. Okay, so for women, I would say schedule in one fun activity per day. So whether it's, you know, going into Sephora and just playing with the makeup, you know, you don't even have to spend money. You can, you know, go out with friends. Just really schedule it in. The more fun you have, the more you're going to sparkle and, you know, shine and get juicier. And so for men, you can also do that, or
Men should go to Sephora and look at the makeup?
they have cologne. They have cologne.
Don't listen to this.
Wait.
Go see a Ranger game. Take her with you.
Hear me out. Hear me out. So for men, what you do is just reflect back on what was amazing in your day. Just celebrating what was a success or what was great or finding something joyful once a day. You know, just kind of practicing that. And that will really kind of lighten up your day, make it more fun and easy. Number 2, look at your bedroom, because that is where you're going to call in your partner, whether you already have one or you're, you know, looking for one. Look at your bedroom and see if it's welcoming. If, you know, if your partner walked in, is there space for them?
And a pillow.
You'd be surprised.
And a blanket.
And the towel.
Yeah, so number 3, I'm going to think about it. So, Lorii?
Yeah, so for me, the first thing that you have to remember is, of course, I already said it, identify what you want, be specific at what you want. And then the second one is you have to not settle for anybody who's just available. Don't settle for anybody. So just be, you know, strict with your standards, because this is what you want. And then there's, you know, as long as you throw the universe and surrender that, you know, this is what you want, it will be given up to you. And then the third thing is don't lose hope. A lot of people have lost hope, that say like, okay, I'm not good enough, I'm not rich enough, and all those not enough things, you know, it's going down the drain. So you have to, you know, bring up your self-confidence back. You know, because there's somebody out there who's just waiting for you, and then like sometimes they're there, but you're not paying attention. You just have to be there at the particular moment.
All right, I'm gonna jump on that. That really brought back what I was trying to enunciate before. You are enough. Mm-hmm. We are all enough. Mm-hmm. You're whole and perfect just the way you are now. There's nothing wrong with you. So manifest the person that you want. And when I say manifest, I mean every single smell, taste, touch, desire. Just write it all down on a piece of paper. You may not find somebody that has every single thing you want, but studies have been done that when you write things down, it coalesces in your mind very clearly, so that when you're out with somebody and you see something that you clearly don't want, you'll know that you're not going to settle for that. You know, so again, everything she said, listen to her. Don't settle, and understand that you're enough. You're going to get what you want, and be aware of your surroundings, because the person you want may be right next to you, and you're just not even looking at it.
Great, so I can hop on to yours. Visualizing is really good. The reason for writing it down is then you can feel it, because our feelings are like magnets. So what you want and what you don't want, you do attract it. You are responsible. So by being clear, writing it out, I desire this. You're calling it in, and if you can feel it, then that's even more powerful. And my number 3 is getting clear between your wants and what you really need in your relationship, because I think all of us are, guilty of having our list of, yes, we want our man to be this and that and that and that. That's our wants. And then looking at that list and really circling, what do we really, really need that would make us happy? And a lot of that actually comes off the list. Now, the cool part is when you know what you need, actually you start calling in both. You call in the person that you need, and you also get the perks of what you want. So, have fun.
I'm just going to do a 3A here. When it comes to lists, or when it comes to manifesting, or when it comes to the law of attraction, only focus on what you do want. Do not write a list of the man or the woman that you don't want, because you will get all that. Okay? The universe listens to you. So if you say something like, I never get sick, the universe hears sick. Doesn't hear the word never.
Yeah.
It hears the power word there. So focus only on what you do want. Never write a negative list in an email or on your online profile. Oh my God, don't do it. Just don't do it. Stay positive, stay focused. Only think about what you do want. Write it down. Daydream. Daydream about the man or the woman that you want every single day. First thing in the morning, before you go to bed at night, think about it. Think about what you'd be doing with them. Think about being juicy, but only focus on the positive, the positive, the positive. Judy, do you have something to say?
Can I sneak back
Yes,
in?
Judy's going to sneak back in.
Yay!
She can close it up for us.
The last word. I don't know what that is.
Yes.
I love you guys. You're amazing.
Thank
Just
you.
really. I'm going to actually, when this video is out, I'm going to show it to some of my clients.
Awesome.
Very cool.
So this is what I do with people that come in here. The first thing we work on is self-awareness, who you are, what you're about. The next thing I work on is self-acceptance, so that people can really love and honor themselves.
That's true.
And the last thing I work on is self-reliance, so that no matter who you meet, whether it works out or not, you have yourself and you can really love yourself.
Yes.
And the one thing that I tell people is that dating, I don't know if you guys, gals, agree with me, but that dating, it's like you are the cake.
That's
You're
true.
all the cake, and the dating is the icing.
Yes.
So if you don't have the cake, which is
The
yourself,
foundation.
the foundation, then you just have icing.
Oh my God! Oh, sweet and
I
everything.
like icing.
Is that deep?
I
Yes.
like it's great. And you know what? Just before we finish, when we do our workshops, we don't teach anybody anything. We just have all these brilliant exercises, and they get it for themselves.
Yeah.
And one of our participants said at the end of the workshop, we asked them what they got, and she said, I got that when I go out on a date with a guy, I have to look at it like trying on a pair of jeans. If I don't like the way the jeans fit me, I try on another pair.
That's right.
And same thing for guys, but you can use hockey tickets or whatever you want to say. Trying on jeans. Well, we all try on jeans.
Yeah. You have to have yourself,
That's true.
and then it just becomes like, oh, that's an interesting person, and
Yeah.
I have to agree with Judy, and before we go, I want to hear what these young ladies have to say. If you don't love yourself, nobody else will either.
That's true, because you have to take time for yourself, because let's say you have a lot of schedule going on, and then you don't have a schedule for yourself. It can get crazy. You're not taking care of yourself. The most important thing, of course, is hygiene. I don't want anybody to forget about hygiene, even men. Don't forget to wear your underarm deodorant. I'm just saying that because men perspire much more often. I don't know what's the reason behind that, but I'm just letting men in the crowd know. And so yeah, you have to love yourself first. If you have, if you're a woman who likes to feel that, have a lot of feelings, so you have to bring yourself to massage, to facial and everything. If you have to find ways in order to enjoy yourself. Like, if you like traveling, you have to bring yourself to travel, even though you're by yourself. You have to take time for yourself. And then, that's the way that you will be able to recognize yourself. And I remember, I forgot, Bob Proctor. He was sharing in the movie, like, I love myself, and he was kissing himself. I was thinking,
Don't do that on a date.
Yeah, so it all starts with loving yourself. You cannot find somebody unless you are yourself loved, and you are lovable. Everybody's lovable. You just have to figure it out. I am. You just say that to yourself in the mirror every day, like, I'm lovable. Louis Hay always say that, like, you have to have a mirror and you say, like, I'm lovable, because you are.
Great.
Cool.
And what I'd like to add is we all want to be loved, and the only way we can teach someone how to love us is by modeling how we love ourselves. So if we take good care of ourselves, we go to massages and spas, the other person will see, and then they'll also know how to, give the way we want. And so, model.
So you teach others how to teach you by the way you treat yourself.
Yes. Thank you.
Got it. And on that note, we are DCI,
Yeah.
and we are
Nice.
out of here. Not yet.
Yeah, you have to tell how can people
How
find
did they
you.
reach you?
Yeah.
Well, that will be scrolled on the video.
And then what do you offer?
Okay, the offer?
Yeah.
The offer. Well, we will be producing a DCI ebook very, very soon. Entitled, do we have a title? We decided? Dating is not a disease? Did we decide on that?
No, we're
I
still
like that one.
No, we have to speak to the other coaches, so we're still working on
Yeah, and then your workshops.
a title.
Okay, Dating Demystified workshops are here in New York, and you can find them at Demystified Dating, that's DEMISTY, like Misty Eye, dating.com. We hold them 3 times a year, and they are fabulous. They are nothing like what you think they are. And clearly I'm available for coaching as well. And we'll have lots of stuff scrolling along the bottom of this so you can get a hold of me.
Yeah. Rose?
Great, you can find me at romancinglifenow.com, so that's R-O, man, MANCING.com. Let's see, what else? Can I do that again?
Sure.
Okay, so romancinglifenow.com, that's ROMANCING, lifenow.com. You could go to my website for some ebooks and coaching and consultations, and I will be coming up with some workshops too, so check it out.
Okay, so for me, I have a website called www.manifestingmydestiny.com, and I have a membership site wherein people can join in and have some forums with
And
other
it's
people.
fabulous.
Yeah, and it's called manifestingyourtruelove.com. I have coaching sessions, and then I have ebooks coming. One of the, with DCI, and I have 2 more. With one is with the Law of Attraction group, and then the other one is another dating coach group that I belong, and you can all check them out in my website. And this is just one video that we have, and then you will have more videos. And I also am planning to have podcasting, and as well as I write for eScene articles and Mouth Zone, which is an international magazine, online magazine. And we would like to thank our special guest. Maybe you can tell us as well, how can people get your services?
Well, I have an office here in New York City, and I'm reachable by email. And my name is Judy Silberstein. And
Woo.
you
I said, woo!
and you can reach me at Judy Silb, JUDYSILB@gmail.com. I answer all my emails right away.
Cool.
Great.
And this is her office, and she is volunteering it to us because she's fabulous. So
And you three are fabulous. It's the fabulous club.
so we are DCI, and now we are out of here.
Yeah, happy
Bye.
Valentine's